RSL, Ritmix RSL, we are in game number 5 of the best of 5 between Life and MMA here in the round of 8. And it was an awesome series so far. I loved these games, a lot of back and forth. And now we have on this map, on a Kill on Waste, the map choice of MMA. To the bottom right of the map, we have the CC for MMA, the Acer player. And starting to the top left, we of course see his opponent, Startail Life. That guy was very aggressive in the past few games that we saw from him. Went into a double 10 pool, and that didn't work out too well in game number 2 and number 3 for him. Those were the 2 games that he actually lost. And at this particular point in time, we see him here with the oversupply thanks to the extractor cancel and a normal opening. For MMA, on the other hand, what we see this time is probably going to be the same build. If you think about what MMA did in this best of 5 series, then you will realize very fast that he used the exact same build in every single one of his matchups. He changed it a little bit once that he got his expansion up. Sometimes we saw an attempted Talbot drop, we saw Banshee play, we saw him with Widow Mines, but the opening was always the same. Command center on the low ground first, the barracks right there, and then heading into his tech. And this is most likely going to be exactly what we're going to see from him in this game as well. You already see that we have like roughly 400 minerals, and there it is, bam! Drops the command center like a boss. And to the top left, of course, Life is going for the hatch first here once again. Yes, the Overlord's already moving on the map, wants to see if there is maybe a double barracks play. The one thing that he doesn't do is send out a drone scout. But if you have those Overlords on those scout patterns, you usually see barracks. You usually see the barracks that are being built, but still it's taking a risk. It's still taking a risk here, like no question about it. If there's an 11-11 with him going into extra drones after his hatch first, you have to be quite careful there. So currently in this series, which is still tight by the way, we have a 2-2 in the best of 5. It is the last map. We see the gas taking a little bit faster for MMA. He wants to go into his tech after his command center, wants to go into a factory a little bit faster. So we could maybe even see the Banshee play again. Banshee play is pretty cool in this situation, so that's something that he can pull off here. 6 Lings are immediately being built once that the pool is built, and the Queen of course follows suit. So with the Zerglings here, he's now suddenly in a spot where he can try to be a little bit aggressive at the bottom right and maybe even delay that command center. The bunker is already being built, and the Overlord, he sees everything here. It's actually getting a little bit cheeky here, okay, moving to the right side because he wants to know what's happening. But with those additional 6 Zerglings, keep in mind what he did earlier in the first game. He's even getting another set of Zerglings because he wants to be aggressive here. Keep that a little bit in mind. On Belcher Vestige, he got into his opponent's main base and he killed so much mining time. That's something that you have to realize when we talk about Life's win on Belcher, because that really put MMA behind with all the mining time that he lost. And if Life is able to pull something similar off again, that would be crazy good for him. I kinda don't think that he will be able to really make this happen once more, but he's certainly giving it a go and moving in already. With 8 Lings alone, he's able to kill the SCV maybe, but not that bunker. I'm not quite sure why he wastes so many Zerglings. I would have expected him to try to get into the main base a lot faster. So he is at least able to force a few additional SCVs off the mineral line. He has the scout in the base, but let's just face it, Life screwed that up a little bit. He should have realized earlier that with an SCV present and double marine in the bunker, that he can't really take down too many units, and especially not the bunker itself. So if he moves into the main base with those Zerglings, he does a lot more damage. Maybe he expected there to be a second supply depot already, which is actually a valid thought. So a Terran player might have just started to wall up here a bit faster. That's what Terran players are supposed to do. I talked with Scarlet about this a lot, and in this particular scenario, Life, when he walked up the ramp, probably realized, well, you know what, I probably should have tried to run into the main base right from the beginning. But that's something that we know. We saw that he didn't have the high ground vision, so yeah. Currently, as you can see, he's going for his 3rd base. We have him with a double gas in the main. He's now starting to get his own hatch. And MMA, like we talked about it in game number 2, when he started his Hellbat aggression, that he apparently didn't get the memo about the newest patch. And I feel that, I mean, in Germany, we actually call this Beratungsresistent. He seems to have a bit of a problem understanding that those Hellbats are not going to do him a lot of good in this game anymore. He didn't kill anything with those boys in game number 2. Not really true. Well, he killed the double queen, But the problem really was that MMA was already far ahead in the series, so the Queens was the only thing that he killed, and everything else did not really work for him. Hellbats are not that great. Like, they are awesome if they are combined with an army, so that you have something at the front, and you always want to get out the Blue Flame Hellion upgrade if you go for them. That makes them really, really good. But the Hellbats alone at the beginning for the drop play, not really a thing anymore, just because you invest a lot. Like the Medivacs, the time that you invest is more an issue than the money that you invest, because those 100 minerals, that's not really gonna be an issue for you that you put that out. But the Hellbats don't just do that much damage anymore. Life, on the other hand, has a much... Oh, he saw an inkling of those Hellbats, so he might know. But the problem for MMA rather is that it's Overlord spread. I mean, look where we have Overlords. Look at this vision that we have. Overlords everywhere. And just look at the minimap right now. This is the view of Life. He sees everything. Like, he sees those Hellbats. Like, even MMA doesn't know yet that those Medivacs are there, and Life already knows. So he can build units to just deal with this. He has the Queen already in position. There comes number 3 and number 2. They are there immediately, and they're like, hey, how you doing? Hellbat drop? Nah. Didn't you know? Hellbats suck now. Oh, look at that. 3 Hellions. You didn't pay attention to that, did you? So Life in this particular scenario is really happy that we have this opening for MMA, and I'm a bit surprised that MMA does it. I don't think I might be wrong here, but I haven't seen a single Tyrant player get significantly ahead with Hellbat drops against Zerg since the patch. I haven't seen one. Maybe you guys have watched a few other games and I just didn't catch that, but I personally have not seen this once, and that's why I'm a bit surprised that he actually tries to go for this. So, with a double drop, it's a little bit easier to make that happen. I love that Medivac, by the way, that Viking. I mentioned that earlier already a couple of times, and the Overlord spread for Life put him into a position where he was able to deal with this drop, but now he's gonna lose a lot of Overlords. And this is like this double thing that really works. Life needs to pull those boys back, and I'm a bit surprised that he does not do that, because they are bound to die at some point. The Viking is still trying to find a few victims, and he has already 2 kills. So I'm surprised that Life still lets those Overlords hover there. He gets the first one back, so that's already a really good choice. And I think the other ones, they are only there because he feels he's able to get those Mutalisks out in time to deal with the Viking. But yeah, that's a bit of an oversight, I feel. That Viking could get a lot of kills if MMA micros it, which he currently doesn't do. Doesn't set it on the control path. Lings once again on the mineral line, and now the Hellbats. Yeah, there he can act a bit as a defense here. As a defense, they are in a much better spot, but still no upgrade. And ooh, Zerglings taking down SCVs. On the top, there we have the Widow Mine already being triggered. Life starting to dominate this a bit. And this Medivac should actually be like on patrol, should take down those Overlords. Bit of an oversight by MMA to not do it. Life should have moved them back, MMA should have attacked, a lot of should have, would have, could have. In the end, the Overlords will survive because the Medivac, the Viking is not moving in. Lair tech, of course, now completed. We talked about the Spire nearly done as well. And here comes the upgrade, the speed upgrade. That's so important if you are using Overseers later on. And this is now much better. Like, if you have those Hellbats in the army composition, that actually helps you a lot against the Zerglings. So, I like this attack a lot more. It's, of course, much stronger if you get the Blue Flame upgrade out as well. But with this army supply, MMA can do a lot of damage. And he also can just move back when he sees those units move in. He doesn't have to. Nice bait with the Widow Mines, but also losing a few units. And the Zergling's really struggling. You can see that Life doesn't want to engage. He wants to wait for those 10 Mutalisks that we have. The upgrades are a little bit faster for Life here, and MMA has now a bit of a shot. He could try to take down units at that third, but we already have those rocks collapsed, and he forced the creep back, and that's important for him. He also got his own third up, and he could even start to very soon get a third command center. But this is starting to be a very, very interesting game, since both of them are now very fast heading into their tech and into their army. So it's a very... we don't have a lot of aggression in the early game, but we have a very fast tech out for both of them. So we get the pleasure to actually cast a game where we have a very strong army for both players on the game already after roughly 40 minutes. That's when these upgrades are gonna hit, and when we have the same amount of upgrades for Life. And here comes there come those Mutalisks, and now great hits for those Widow Mines. But now suddenly all those boys are exposed, the Medivacs of course. But in general, MMA did a decent job here. He's also sending another force down to the bottom left, and he has a very, very good game sense in this on this particular map, talking about him just forcing creep back. He always has a second force somewhere where he can scan and take down the creep tumors. So Life is really trying to get that creep back, but in terms of reducing the map control of Life a little bit, MMA is doing a really good job. And he's now starting his 4th command center, so he wants to get a 4th base out there. Life is already on 4 bases, and he has a really good income because of it, as you can see. Especially in the gas, he's ahead, and that's what you want to be. Bit of a run by here, taking down that Viking. 2 kills only for that boy. But here we have the infestation pit already, and there's the army. Life, can he really engage this? He's certainly trying. Moving in, splitting, taking down Marines. Medivacs are exposed, and well, MMA is falling behind in supply, and especially in Medivacs, he's not as low as he was in the rest of the games, but down to 5, he cannot lose those. He really needs to try to keep those alive, and both of them, all 3 of them are actually gone, and this puts MMA in a very difficult position. He cannot really be aggressive with only 2 Medivacs. This limits his options. But Life doesn't still know about those 2 Widow Mines. He didn't see those. And bam, good hits. Needs to take those out. But Life has so much momentum going for him. The 3-3 has been started for MMA. That gives him a lead later on, but I don't think that... First of all, the lead is not as significant as it was in previous games, because Life is already going into Hive Tech. He has the infestation pit already, so this is much faster for Life this time. And 3-3 might never come into play if Life continues this much aggression. Most of the Widow Mines are already gone. We have 7 left, but the splits are pretty decent for the Zerg player. So Terran is doing whatever he can. The Widow Mines are still there, but he takes them out one by one, and the Medivacs are once again being sniped. Only 3 left, and this defense for MMA just doesn't work. He's down 60 supply already, and a Medivac has been sent to the left side to distract Life a little bit, but I don't think that he can afford to send those units over there. He needs more units to defend here. His defense is really weak, and he's dropping nearly below 100 supply already. The Hive Tech is about to be completed for Life, and he has +2 attack for the Mutalists. That drop is moving into the natural or the 3rd base, but there's already a Spine Crawler. The drop just doesn't find anything to target, and Life is now going. Life is going for aggressive proxy hatcheries here. He takes the game. The GG, and MMA is out of the Ritmix RSL, loses the best of 5 series with 2-3. Life advances. Congratulations to the StarTale player. Well done today. Great series.